Hello, Gal. Sorry, I saw the T-shirt.
Yes.
And thank you for being here today with us.
Thank you for having me.
You were at the festival the day that the Hamas attack happened, and also your brother is hostage right now. We want to know a bit more about your story. Tell us from the beginning, from the day of the festival, what happened, where were you?
Okay, so in the beginning, I actually wasn't supposed to go to the Nova festival. I didn't plan to go, but for my baby brother, Guy, it was the first ever spiritual festival. Now, the Nova is not just a party. It's a proper spiritual festival. It's a gathering of all sorts of different people from all kinds of different cultures. People that go to spread love, to celebrate peace and love, to celebrate life. You could see Jews and Arabs dancing together in this festival.
And it was the first time that your brother went to those kind of festivals?
He never went to any of this kind before,
Okay.
but since I always have been going to this kind of festivals, and he always saw me going, and we were speaking about it a lot. Then he always wanted to. Now, Guy went with his three best friends. One of them is his childhood friend, Aviatar David. They both are friends from age 0. And he and Aviatar were kidnapped together. You could see them both in the hostage video that Hamas published on the same morning of the kidnapping. The other two friends, a boy and a girl, Idan Aramati and Ron Sarfati, a boy and a girl that became a couple just a week before the festival. Really two joyful, happy people. They were both murdered at the festival. Now, for my brother, it was really important that I will also come to the festival, and
so he was the one who told you to go with him.
Yeah, he was so excited for this festival. He prepared for it for 3 months ahead, and he always asked me to come with him. And because it was on the same date of my best friend, the bachelor party, I decided that in the beginning, I decided not to go. But after speaking with my brother, I decided to leave the bachelor party in the middle and come to the Nova, so I can be with him. I wanted to be part of his experience. I wanted to watch over him, make sure he's having a good time.
You wanted to protect him.
Yeah, exactly. Even though it's a party, but it's his first one, so I want to make sure he's having a good time. And I left my friend bachelor party. I stopped at home. I was living with a roommate at that time. It's Shmuel, who's also a good friend of mine, and we decided to go to the Nova together. So I picked him up, and we went to the Nova site. Exactly. Now we arrive soon in the morning. We arrive around 5:30 a.m. And by the time we got in, it was already 6:15, I think. My brother, he waited for me at the entrance. As soon as I got in, he hugged me, he kissed me. He told me how happy he is that I came. He took his phone out and took a selfie of both of us.
The selfie that we saw, it's from that moment, by the time that he met you in the entrance.
At the entrance, yeah. He sent it to our mother. So it was 6:15 when this picture was sent. Now we know that it was 15 minutes before the alerts. So he wanted me to go to the dance floor with him so badly. He told me, like, I waited for you so long. I'm happy that you're here. Come to the dance floor with me. And I told him, like, give me a couple of minutes so I can settle my things, and I will join you. So he took me to where they camped, he and his friends, and I started getting ready. But by the time I was finished, the alarms already started at 6:30.
He went to the dance floor, but you stayed to settle, and then you planned to meet him at the dance floor.
And the dance floor and the place where he camped was really close. Yes. I mean, he still was near me. He was still near me at the time of the alarms. When the alarm started, we all figured that we should leave as soon as we can. There were police officers that told everyone to either take cover or start getting out of the place. And in Israel, when you hear the alarms and you see the rockets, you think, okay, it's a rocket attack. So the most reasonable thing to do is either take shelter or take cover. And we actually decided that we should leave as soon as we can. Because there were not a lot of shelters around us, and we figured that we should go home. Now, they were all supposed to come to my apartment at Herzliya, which was less than 1 hour drive. And just before we went each to his own car, I asked my brother if he wanted to join me in my car, because he and his friends were supposed to come and meet us at my apartment. And he wanted to, and he hesitated, and then he said that he don't want his friends to feel like he left them. So he will come back with them, but he will meet me at home. So me and Shmuel, we started to get out of there in our cars. But since our cars didn't park next to each other, and there was a big traffic, because everyone was trying to get out at the same time, we weren't in the same places and the same locations of the traffic. I think that after maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes of driving, a massive round of shooting started, and it came from all around us. So you left, you started driving to go to your apartment, and then the shooting? We were mainly stuck in the traffic on the way out of there. We barely made it to the main road after the parking area. So we were still kind of close to the festival, but after the main road, there were officers that blocked the main road and asked us to drive into the fields. There were open fields after it. So they direct us to there, but then the shooting started, and everyone stopped and started leaving their cars and started running away. So we couldn't keep moving with our car. We were surrounded by empty cars. So me and Shmuel, we also left our cars and started running, and we could find a way down to a wadi that was really next to the field. So we got down there to the wadi, and we were hiding under a tree with a group of some other people from the festival. And I called my brother, and he answered, and he told me that he's taking cover with his friends. You called your brother, and he said that, we are covered with the other group of friends that they were together. That's the last message you have from your brother? Not exactly. No. I mean, my brother, when the shooting started and we ran, then I called my brother. I wanted to know what happens with him, what's going on. So he told me that he's still with his friends, and that they are taking cover, and they are next to the festival area, and that there are force of four police cops, and that there are fire exchanges between the cops and the terrorists that arrived at this location. So I told him to stay as close as he can to our forces, but stay hidden and in cover, and let me know if anything happens. We ran and hid while shooting on us for about almost 10 hours, I think, 9 hours. Since 7 a.m. until 2 p.m. At 2 p.m., a force of police were able to locate us via the location that we sent in the phone. And while they are taking cover for us, we ran into the cars and they drove out of there. So we arrived to the nearest police station at 2 p.m., around 2 p.m. And this was when I called my father, and my father he told me that my brother was kidnapped and that Hamas released a hostage video of him. And that this video was published at 11:30 a.m., which is 2.5 hours before I was able to get out of there. You know, my friends and my family and everyone knew that my brother was kidnapped, but you know, no one told me so I can focus on saving my own life. So only once I got out of there, I learned about it, and I think that was the hardest part that day. I mean, the whole time running and hiding there, all I could think about is my brother and what's happened to him. I couldn't go back to him because of all the shootings, but I was also kind of optimistic that everything would be okay. And once I learned he was kidnapped by Hamas, you know, the first thing I thought it's anything but a hostage by this terror organization. But now, you know, a while later, when I learned to look about it, this was the only hostage video that was released on that day. All the other videos that Hamas released, it's a kidnapping video. You don't know what happened to the people after the kidnapping. But in my brother's case, you can see him clearly already in Gaza, in the Hamas tunnels, or in a room, in a dark room, looking physically well, physically healthy, frightened, scared, because he's already in Gaza, and physically he seems well in the video. We have all the reason to believe that he's being kept alive to promote a deal, and that keeps us optimistic, and that makes us stronger, give us the strength to keep fighting for him, because, you know, I believe in all my heart that he's alive and he will return to me, and he will return to us. I know it for sure. I just hope it will happen already. You know, it's been so long.
It's been 1 year.
It's 1 year, exactly. It's 1 year later, and it doesn't get any easier. We are so tired and so heartbroken and miss him so much.
In an interview last year, I think that it was your first interview about your brother, you said that you are afraid that the rest of the world will forget the hostages. Do you think that this is what we do right now, that we forget about the hostages because it's been 1 year, and with all the rest of the things that happen in Middle East right now in general?
I'm saying it in almost all interviews. I truly believe, and I think it's anyone who has the slightest clue about everything that happened in the Middle East, everyone knows that what's going on. It's all started with the kidnapping of these hostages. It's all started with taking these innocent people. You know, my brother and me and our family, we are really people that live in the peace and love way. We learn how to respect all the people around us. We don't see people as their religion. I don't care about politics or religion or boundaries. All I see people is as what they are. And I think all the Middle East is suffering from the same terror organizations that are trying to put the Middle East on fire. We're dealing here with people that not just want us dead. They don't mind to make their civilians suffer, and doing everything they can to do it. So I think that the Palestinians there and we are suffering from the same evil that has in the Middle East. And if you want to have a really chance for real peace, and if you want to start a real healing process It could never be happened without getting the hostages back. We always remembering why we're fighting for. And you know, for me, the most important thing is to see my brother again. I miss him and I love him more than anything in the world. I would die for him. And I would never stop fighting for him. And only once the hostages will be back, I think the Middle East can start the healing process that it needs so much. But it can never happen without the world intervene and help us to put the pressure on Hamas, to make sure this terror organization will stop the suffering for both sides, for us and for their own civilians, and to give them a real chance for a bright future. Because otherwise we're just getting in the same loop again. I don't want a ceasefire just to have a ceasefire. I want to have a real chance of peace. And for that, the world need to always remember. It all started with the hostages, and it can only end with the hostages.
Yes. How many hostages are there still in Gaza? Because I think that there were a lot that they were, after the ceasefire last year, they were a few that they came back. And how many do you know exactly the number of the people that they are in Gaza and still alive in Gaza?
No, I don't know how many of them are still alive because I don't think anyone knows. You know, the main issue here is that since they were kidnapped, we didn't get any sign of life from them. We didn't get any list of who's alive, what is condition. They don't let the Red Cross go in and give us information about the hostages or give them any help. So no, I don't have this information, and I think that's the most disturbing thing, that these innocent people that were taken from the beds, that they're taking from a Peace and Love festival, that being used as a currency in this war, and that being subjected to physical, psychological, sexual abuse on a daily basis. These are the people that right now are being forgotten. And I think the most important thing here that the world need to help us is to get information about them, first of all. And Hamas need to do it to show that he really wants to have a ceasefire and to have a deal. But you can't make peace and you can't have a ceasefire with someone who don't want to. And that's something that, you know, I wish I would know more about the hostages. We do know that they have more than 100 hostages right now, currently. Who's alive, we don't know. We believe that most of them.
So the last sign of your brother that you have is the video. Nothing else. None of the other hostages that they came back have something, they know him or...
No, one hostage that returned was on the same hostage video. But right after the video, they separated them, and you haven't seen him there since. But we also know that no one knew anything about him until he was rescued from Gaza, alive and well. So we still have the reason to believe that my brother is being kept alive and well, but just somewhere else.
It's been 1 year. How you deal with that, you and your family? Because I think that it's something, it's really hard. I can understand that, but how you sleep at night to tell that, knowing that your brother is in Gaza?
I drink a lot and I smoke a lot. It helps me to sleep or crash. My parents, they don't deal with that too good, to be honest. You know, it's been a year and doesn't get any easier. But with, you know, I always say that we have bad days and we have worse days. But with all of that, you know, after I came back, I was in kind of a shock for about a week or two. Then I snapped out of it, and I felt that I have a responsibility. I was there for a reason, and I saw what I saw for a reason. I want to tell my brother's story. I want to talk about him as much as I can. I want to make sure the world won't forget the hostages, and I want to make sure the world will do anything they can to help us get the hostages back. This sense of responsibility, and along with the belief that my brother will return to me, and that he's alive and well, and that I'll see him again, it gave me the strength to keep fighting, and keep fighting is what keeps us busy. And that's the reason I'm here in Cyprus. That's the reason I'm here speaking to you. To be honest, I'm kind of tired of it. I don't have the strength to keep doing it, but I still find it.
You need to, because you want your brother
because
back.
I have one target, one mission, and it's to get him back. And that's what keeps us moving. That's what gives us the strength to keep going, and we need to be strong for him, for when he returns, to help him start healing.
Your family, how they deal with these?
Everyone doing what they can. I will give you an example. My mom was perfectly healthy before the October 7th. 2 months ago, she had been going through an open heart surgery because this whole situation has been too much on her. She's doing what she can. My father doing what he can. Everyone helps how they can. Everyone doing as much as they can, and keep us busy on doing things that we think in the end helps. That's one way to deal with it. But the thing is that there is really not a way to deal with it. You know, no one can help. No, nothing has changed. And the only thing that can really change anything is getting them back.
I want you to tell us what is your message to those who are taking the decisions and to the rest of the world.
I am simple man. The families hostages, the hostages of the families of the hostages are simple people. All we want is to see our loved ones again and to have a real peace. We never wanted this war. We never wanted this fight. We wish it to end, but we can never let it end. We can never stop fighting until they are home. For us, it's the most important and the only important thing. I would die for my brother, as I said. I would see the world burn before I stop fighting for him. And yet, I still believe in peace. I still believe that peace is achievable and possible. I still believe that we are here to stay, and they're here to stay, and we need to live to learn how to live with each other, and it's possible. Because if I won't believe in it, then the terrorism is won, and the world can't let terrorism win. They need to fight it. If they won't fight with us now and help us have a real ceasefire and a real peace, while getting the hostages back, then one day it will turn against them. And the world needs to be united and strong against terror.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.